Bienvenue à ChangeNOW and welcome to the second pitching session of the day on the topic of education. My name is Matthias and I have the pleasure of moderating for you here today. I am also the co-founder of Changemaker Exchange, which is a support network for activists and social entrepreneurs all around the world. Last year, we did a study among 1,600 social entrepreneurs across 130 countries, and we were asking them what the topics are that they work on. Nearly half of them work on education. We then went on to ask them, why do you think you focus your attention on the topic of education? And they all said the number one reason why they do that is because they believe it's the biggest lever to overcome inequality. It is the big equalizer that we have at hand as humanity to bring justice, education, wealth, prosperity, well-being to people around us. And with that, it is my great pleasure to welcome you and 5 wonderful changemakers in the field of education. Before we do that, I want to also give attention to you, the esteemed jury, who's going to ask a couple of constructively challenging questions after the pitches. And maybe for just 20 seconds, you could very quickly tell us who you are and who you represent, but short and sweet, because we are quite tight schedule-wise. Thank you.
Hello?
Can we turn on the microphones in the front? Try again, maybe. Oh.
Perfect. Hello, my name is Kelsey Russell. I'm based out of New York, and I am a media literacy TikTok creator. I use print media and read it every day on my TikTok as a vehicle to improve younger generation's sense of curiosity, sense of self, and also just pick up and read more.
Subscribe immediately. Yeah. Thank you. Wonderful to have you. Yes, please.
Good morning, my name is Chris Cesarian. I work for a London-based fund called Manta Ventures. We're a seed Series A early stage fund, and we invest in mission-driven startups in the categories of healthcare, education, and sustainability.
Wonderful. Good to have you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Chow. I'm a principal at Raise Ventures based here in Paris. We're a pre-seed seed VC focusing on all things tech for good, including education, health, and climate.
Wonderful.
Hi, my name is Peter. I work at Impact Partners, a private equity fund with 350 million euros assets under management, and we invest in social impact businesses in all of Europe from 3 to 50 million euros. Thank you.
Money, expertise, investments, everything seems to be present. That's wonderful. Thank you for your time in advance, and you're going to get the chance to ask questions at the end of the pitches. Very good. Wonderful. Without further ado, I'd love to welcome the first pitcher onto stage. That is Marine from Youth Talks. Your time to shine, 3 minutes. Thank you. And ideally, you position yourself in that square. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marina Dang, and I'm the CEO of Youth Talks, the largest youth consultation ever. When we ask young people all over the world what they need to learn for a better future, what do they want to prioritize, do you know what they did answer to us? All of them worldwide answered, we want to relearn human values and virtues. They talked about empathy, kindness, solidarity, open-mindedness. They didn't talk about management, they didn't talk about engineering, they didn't talk about mathematics or AI. This was the most striking results of Youth Talks' first global consultation. The first edition of Youth Talks was launched 1.5 years ago. We had 45,000 participants coming from 212 countries and territories who shared 1 million ideas with us. Yes, 1 million ideas. Because what makes us very innovative and specific, and if you need to remember one thing from my pitch, it's the one, is the fact that we ask open-ended questions to the young people, and we use AI technologies like natural language processing to analyze the answers. So they don't have to tick a box. They can answer whatever they want. And this is what we did with that first consultation. By the way, we are about to launch another consultation on AI, Youth Talks on AI, where we ask them to tell us more about how they want to live with AI tomorrow in their life, in their everyday life. So Youth Talks is a tool for change in the sense that Of course, it's already the first, like the largest international youth forum, but we also have a concrete impact. We have 3 pillars of execution. First of all, we collect the voices of the young people. We analyze all these answers with AI, and then we create these deliverables, very specific deliverables for organizations and decision makers to take that into consideration in their decisions and in the transformation of our society. Last but not least, we use our network of ambassadors. We have about 3,000 ambassadors worldwide, coming from 95 countries at the time. Remember that we launched this 1.5 years ago, so we are quite new. So as you can understand, our mission is to bring these voices of the youth to the attention of organizations and decision makers around the world to really influence their actions and to better meet the needs and aspirations of young people. We already have a concrete impact. We have a network of partners, more than 60 partners, the UNESCO, the UN, and many others. You can see some of their logo on the website, right? And we provide them, as I mentioned, the right deliverables so they can really act on it. They can really take into consideration the voices of the young people all around the world. Tomorrow Youth Talks, it will be 1 million young people that will express their views through our platform, 50,000 ambassadors, and many Youth Talk chapters worldwide. So thank you very much for your attention. Now we need your help to leverage, to scale up this amazing and very innovative initiative. Thank you.
You can pass it on to them, yeah. Thank you so much, Marianne. That's an impressive story of growth in such a short time. Well done, and very inspiring. Next up is Iris of Zamizen. Welcome. Your time to shine.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Let me introduce you to Leah, a teacher in Lille. During a reading lesson, a little student, Enzo, whispers, "Miss, I'll never get it." Enzo, 6 years old, is already convinced that he's not capable of learning to read. Heartbreaking, right? Big problem, this story isn't unique. Our kid lacks self-confidence and social struggle from an early age. Why? Because our education system forgot to teach soft skills like managing emotions, stress, and relationships. It's not just a matter of personal well-being. It's a huge problem, a huge social and economic problem. It impacts health, employment, innovation, and safety. The good news is there is a momentum for soft skills in France. Starting next school year, they will officially be part of the curriculum. But here's the challenge. 90% of teachers feel unprepared to teach this new subject, and so they feel anxious. That's where Zamizen steps in with an innovative approach. Let me introduce you Voltaire the cat. Voltaire isn't a superhero, and kids adore Voltaire because he's just like them. He sometimes doubts himself, feels angry, but he's got plenty of practical tips to regulate his emotion and get along with others. And if Voltaire can do it, they can do it. Kids like Enzo dive deep into Voltaire's adventures through animated stories, catchy songs, and role-playing games. They embrace Voltaire's habits, like taking deep breaths with a hand on their belly before speaking in public, or tackling a new challenge, just like I did 5 minutes ago. Already tens of thousands of children have benefited from Zamizen, mainly in disadvantaged communities, and guess what? Over 80% of teachers report positive impact in attention, emotional regulation, and classroom atmosphere. French Ministry of Education supports us with the prestigious EduUp label. Our app has been chosen for the first study on reducing children's stress in hospital, and we've built a partnership to prevent eco-anxiety in children across France, Belgium, and Canada. Let's give every Enzo the keys to shine and build a fair, peaceful, and collaborative society. Right now, we are seeking 750,000 euros to accelerate our development and impact. We are also seeking partnership in education and health sector to ensure Zamizen can reach as many kids as we can. I'm Iris, co-founder of Zamizen. Thanks for listening, and let's talk about it today.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. And wishing Zamizen much success. Next up is Suzanne from Climate Creatives. Your 3 minutes are starting now.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you all. So we use art and design to engage people on climate issues. And what does that mean? Well, this is the current state of climate communications. And does that make you want to think about climate and act? Well, maybe all of you, because you're here. But most people, they end up feeling confused, overwhelmed, and afraid. And that makes them avoid thinking about it and not acting on it. This is a study from Yale that shows that the great majority of people around the world know that climate change is happening. But on the bottom graph, very few people think that climate change will harm them personally a great deal. So that disconnect is what we try to break through with a completely different approach by creating a positive emotional experience, putting people together with creative materials to engage them and come up with solutions. And we make people feel hope, joy, and connection instead. Our unique methods have been very successful. We've reached over 1.2 million people on site. We have a large digital presence, and we've worked with over 150 different partners. We are ready to scale up. We have proven that this is successful and it reaches people. And now we want to put all of our exercises and more content online through kits and instructions and training webinars and be able to reach many more people globally at a much lower cost. Our vision for 2030 is to have over 1 million annual users and growing, and 3 million in annual revenue. But we need strategic partners. We're going to work through channels and strategic partners to be able to reach those goals. We need your help. We need investors, strategic partners, and grants to raise $2 million to invest over 3 years. We'll show a return on investment in years 6 through 10 and profitability in year 4. So I would love to meet with you here. I am an architect, and I've started 3 other ventures. And besides that, my board of advisors are industry and academic leaders in all sectors of climate. And no more dead polar bears. So let's move forward together. And I have a petit cadeau. This was taken from the waste stream. So it was already waste when I took it and fully recyclable. And I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Suzanne. Like the teacher we wish all our children had at school. Thank you. Wonderful. And impressive numbers there, reaching so many people. Next up is Jiranan from mydemy. Ready to go? Yeah? Please, join me here. Please. 3 minutes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jiranan. You can call me O. We came all the way from Thailand today just to present you how mydemy is doing. mydemy is to create the lifelong learners, and our mission is to make sure that free education is real. We want to make sure that career education is a free thing for Thai people to learn career education in the digital sphere for like UX designer, digital analytics, data management, and so on and so forth, as well as being more and more capable in working in the professional environment like a power skill. We have already enrolled more than 90,000 of people on our platform, and we're expecting more and more from our MOU partnerships from the universities and organizations. What we are already doing is we're trying to match these people who we trained to get hired in the companies, and we hire them and take them as a headcount or the fee, and we earn from there. From now, mydemy is connecting with more and wider audience into the ASEAN nations. It's more than 10 countries, and we're already partnered from some countries like Singapore and Cambodia and Laos and partner countries. More of that, we are actually expanding our content to be more accessible to the deaf community, because some of our co-founders are actually from the deaf community themselves, and we want to make sure this is accessible to anyone in Thailand. What we already want to go is to create an application for mydemy, because currently we're only doing on the website, and we're going to make sure that it's mobile and then so accessible to anyone. And the last but not least is just a grand premiere, is that we want to make sure that everybody in Thailand receives free education. And we want to introduce mydemy University, the first Southeast Asian decentralized university, that we would already produce the blockchain technology to make sure that people have the credibility and their skills stored in our platform, and make sure that education is decentralized and anyone can receive the free education once and for all in Thailand. We are looking for a seed grant investment. As of now, we are already established in the platform as a platform to teach career education, but we're also looking for an expansion on the technology level, so maybe that is something that we're looking for. And also, we're looking for someone who can support us on customers acquisition, like a corporate customers, like something like that, and also the corporate partnership to empower our content management and creations. Thank you very much for your stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jiranan from mydemy. Next up and last of the five, before we go into a bit of a Q&A, is Peter from Skizaa Education. Doesn't look like Peter, but maybe you'll introduce yourself then. 3 minutes, your time to shine. Welcome.
Thank you. It's Ali, actually. One of the biggest impediments to investment in Africa is a lack of information. With information, confidence grows, and with confidence, money flows. And that's when real sustainable development begins. Access to good quality data is essential for planning, funding, monitoring, and communicating impact and growth. We cannot build schools without knowing how many students need to be enrolled or teachers need to be trained. We cannot assess the impact of climate change on student attendance in pastoralist communities without understanding and having access to classroom data. We cannot design and implement inclusive STEM education without having parental buy-in. But traditional information gathering across sub-Saharan Africa is incredibly challenging. Why? Well, this might have something to do with it. Today, 3/4 of people across sub-Saharan Africa do not have access to electricity, and 29% are connected to the internet. This means that 80% of data and records lives on paper and is inaccessible. At Skizaa, we are supporting organizations and businesses to change the way that they collect data from rural regions. We transform a process that takes months into minutes. Teachers in remote regions are able to use our application to digitize their processes and their records. The organizations are then able to visualize this data and better understand what is happening in the schools that they support. This means that cases of sexual abuse can be flagged and reported more quickly. Devices for children with disabilities that are being deployed in school can be better maintained. And curriculum for climate change can actually be localized and adapted for the context. At Skizaa, we are a B2B SaaS solution. We support organizations and businesses, and we help them to digitize their operations and understand what is happening in the schools. We are currently digitizing operations for over 6,500 schools across Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. And we receive a significant amount of inbound interest. We believe that we are the best team to build and scale this solution. Our CEO, Ngugi, is innately entrepreneurial with a strong understanding of the cultural context, having attended a school not unlike many that we work in today. We are looking to raise our pre-seed round later this year, and we want to change the way that we think about and fund education in Africa. Thank you.
Wonderful. You can stay with me. Maybe move to the left a little. And I'd love to ask the other 4 pitchers to join me on stage. And hand over right to you, dear jury, with your questions. And since we're a bit short on time and we have many interesting insights to share, let's keep it short and sweet if possible. Thank you. And we can, yep. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I can start. I think my first question maybe is for Zamizen. So it sounds like you're selling into schools, but I'm curious, how do you get parents on board as well?
It's a very important question. Thank you for asking that. Actually, our main clients are cities. So we are working with school, but we are also working with extracurricular centers and with parents because collectivities want to offer our app to parents so they can continue the work that kids do at school at home. And we also accompany, do some atelier with the parents to help them dealing with kids' emotion at home and help them help their kids with learning during homeworks. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, I can go next. Susan, interesting project, but it sounds a bit abstract. So I was asking myself, do you have a concrete example how your solution works?
Yes, I kind of wonder where the other 30 seconds went what I dropped. So what I do is I give people a challenge, and they work in small teams together. And the challenge is, for example, how do you communicate your ESG goals if you're working for a corporation? Or how would you demonstrate SDG goals to your peers on campus? And they come up with a solution to that, and they show the solution in built form, even if it's not a built form solution. So it might be we create an app, but they have to show that. And by having to build a model together, it creates a completely different way of accessing information and communicating with each other. And it's very fun. And so joy equals hope equals action.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
My question is for Youth Talks, Zamizen, and Skizaa. How are you all going to get the, I would say, single and childless population interested in your businesses?
Thank you for your question. So we have many methods of reaching out to the young people through our platform, which is online. But as I mentioned, we also have the ambassadors. So we reach out to these ambassadors thanks to internet. But then we equip them, we empower them so they can lead workshops, session of work with the other young people in their own community. To be honest, most of our ambassadors come from Africa. Like, I would say, like, more than half of them come from Africa. And we really equip and empower them so they can reach to the other young people who do not have access to that kind of technology for us.
Thank you. Yes, please.
So for mydemy, I have two questions. One serious, one not. The first one, how certain are you Udemy aren't going to sue you? You've got the fantastic name, but mildly concerned about that. The second one, slightly more serious, is you mentioned this ambition to effectively take over the Southeast Asia, and it sounds like you're currently live only in Thailand. Do you have a roadmap of what that looks like across the geographies and languages and so on?
Yes, thank you about the Udemy, stuff. Actually, it was kind of a challenge on the SEO part, but anyway, in Thailand and Southeast Asia, for the expansion part, we actually are partnering through the partnership from the state government and also the support. So we have the pipeline already in line. At the moment, I am the part of Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative. So we work across the ASEAN nation with other youth leaders. So what I'm already having is a connection between each people. And we have already established a partnership in Singapore and Cambodia. And that some other countries will be along our pipeline. So we are expecting more or less 2025, we'll be more or less ready to actually have our content available in all of the countries in their context, like language and linguistic supports as well. That's pretty much the part of it. And on the Udemy part, we're aware of that, and then just think we want to have fun with it. Thank you.
Yes,
I have a question for Skizaa, Ali. So in the beginning, you mentioned the problem in Africa is that many people don't have electricity. Many schools in the rural communities probably also do not have the gadgets, computers. So how are you solving this problem with your solution?
Yeah, it's a really good question and very relevant. So the way that we're currently able to digitize schools in rural regions is by leveraging mobile phones. So we have a very low bandwidth application that works offline. and we can digitize operations and paperwork from the whole school with just one kind of very small mobile phone. And that's how we're dealing with that problem.
Wonderful. Coming up to the end, so maybe a last question.
I have one question for Youth Talks. So you talked a lot about raising the voices of youth, but I'm curious, how do you think about the audience? Is it also a youth audience or something broader?
That's a very good question. We realized along the way that we needed to work for all the audience, in the sense that, of course, we need to make sure that the young people get access to the results, our results. And for that, linking this to your question, we make sure to equip them with the right deliverables so they can also present the results in their own communities. But then we realized that, of course, it's very important for us, and this was my last slide with all the partners. So it goes both directions. The partners help us to reach out to the young people, but then we also work with the partners because they are the one on the ground having the impact, taking the decisions and changing the society. So maybe to answer your question, and this is why our work is super, super difficult, is the fact that our audience, our target is very multiple.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Please raise your hands and give these wonderful entrepreneurs and changemakers a big round of applause. Thank you for the wonderful work that you do. We appreciate it. You will have the chance to continue the conversation and network in the networking area just after this, together with the jury. You have one last little task to do, which is to vote on the so-called coup de cœur, meaning one of the pitches that you want to send to another round of pitches on the main stage. And for the audience, welcome to those who have just joined us. We are going to kick off the next round of pitches in just a minute or so at 11:30 on the topic of agriculture. So please either stay here or come back right away. It's going to continue in just a moment. Thank you so much.